Should you keep your mortgage going into retirement, or should you pay it off in one big lump sum? This is a question that I've gotten quite a bit in my time as I practice in the financial planning field. And if you pick wrong here, it could lead to regret that ends up lingering. However, if you pick right, it could help you sleep better at night. What I would say is this is not a one-size-fits-all approach, and the right answer here really depends on you. I'm going to give you a simple decision tree in this video that if you were to follow it, it should help you get closer to the right decision for you. It'll blend math, cash flow, and then peace of mind factor here. So, like I said, by the end of the video, it should help you get in a better position to make the next move for you. First, let's talk about why this question matters. When you retire, your paycheck ends and you're now dependent on your portfolio. A mortgage payment doesn't care whether you're working and whether you have a paycheck or not. It will show up monthly, rain or shine, so the decision here can potentially affect the risk you can afford to take in your portfolio, the lifestyle you can afford with your spending, and it can also afford the peace of mind you have when you go to sleep at night, as I mentioned. So like I said, we want to run the decision filter here, and really, let's see if we can make sense of it. So I want to talk about terminology first. First, you have the rate on your mortgage, which is really what you're paying for the cost of debt. Second, you will have your after-tax return, which we want to be realistic, not overly rosy. And third, we want to identify the liquidity or the cash that you can grab fast. Fourth, and finally, the sleep score, as we mentioned, that's the intangible that I'm going to get to a little bit later on. These four things will help steer the call, but let's ground this with some numbers first. Let's just say you owe $200,000 on your mortgage at a 3% rate. You could invest that $200,000 instead and potentially earn a 5% after-tax yield in a brokerage account. That 2% spread is roughly $4,000 a year. So as you probably know, your returns can change, but typically your mortgage rate doesn't, unless we're looking at a refinance opportunity. So with that context, what we essentially identified is what I call opportunity cost. And that is, are you better off paying that 3% cost of debt today, or could you be better off earning a potential 5% after-tax return? For me personally, if you let the math do the talking here, and if you have the appropriate time frame and it aligns with your risk tolerance, I think in this example, that 5% could be more attractive. Next, what we want to look at is the peace of mind factor, right? And I really go to this second because you really want to make sure you're grounded with your math first. The peace of mind factor is essentially, if I were to pay this mortgage off prematurely or early as I head into retirement, would that make me feel better? Because we all know that there are people, and this may be yourself, that just don't like the idea of debt, right? It just kind of freaks them out a little bit. And that's okay. I understand that. If you would feel better at night knowing that had your mortgage, or if your mortgage gets paid off, then that is that peace of mind factor that you want to take into consideration here. But you only want to go to that second after you've already identified the math part of the equation. Because if you're just going off of, let's just say, the more emotional side of the decision, and you're not going through the logical side first, which is the numbers and the math, then that may end up being a decision that you end up regretting later on, as we alluded to in the beginning of the video. But if you know the math and you still realize that you'd feel better paying it off, then at least you can make that decision with more data and make it more confidently, knowing that you're not overlooking one thing or the other. So really, what's a better approach here? Should you pay it off? Should you not pay it off? Should you do a partial pay down and maybe doing some of the payment towards, that longer term spending or investing here? The answer really depends on you as an individual, as we already mentioned. So What I try to help my clients do is make the best decision for them based off of their unique data set and their unique personalities and how they perceive that mortgage going into retirement. So it's not flashy, but this information is something that you can use, i.e. the filter you can apply to your decision-making process as you think about what to do here next. If this information makes sense to you and you'd like to have a further conversation and see how you can kind of map things out a little bit more, my name is Patrick Hammond, and I am the co-founder of Guardian Financial Services, and I'm a certified financial planning professional, and I would be honored to have a complimentary consultation with you and help you take that next step towards the right decision for you. I want to thank you again for watching this video, and if you want to get in contact with us, our information should be below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks again.